Hey everyone, Zach here. We're going to do a quick audio test real quick. We do have severe storms firing up in Oklahoma that I want to touch up on, or not in Oklahoma, Arkansas, excuse me. Let's see if this audio is working. Sounds perfect. All right, hey guys, Zach here on the Zachary Lane channel. We do have storms firing up in, let me turn that audio down a little bit so I'm not so loud, a severe thunderstorm warning does include Arkansas City. Now, this is the southeast portion of the state. Let's go ahead and blow up radar a little bit bigger so y'all can see it. So this is the current severe thunderstorm warning that includes cities of Reed, Arkansas City, Dermott, all of this in southeast Arkansas. Or here are the counties up here, Desha, Drew, and Lincoln. This is an extension from this severe thunderstorm warning that was up to the northwest that includes Star City there. Briefly, these storms are now going more linear, so they're packing a little bit more opportunity for some damaging winds associated with these storms. So right here, let me actually use a different color. So right here is the line of storms that we're talking about. They're pushing southeast into southeast Arkansas and eventually into Mississippi. We did have a brief severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, there a few minutes ago for a county in Mississippi. We now have a new severe thunderstorm warning back here to the west that includes Elliott and Hampton, Arkansas. Again, this is that's southern Arkansas, and then this over here is southeast Arkansas. I'll zoom out a little bit so you guys get a better idea. So right here's the Arkansas, state border, and then here are the warnings. All these storms are really just firing up. There is a marginal risk out for this region today through the afternoon. I'll actually show you guys the day one severe weather outlook. This is, of course, Arkansas, so anywhere from pretty much just south of Little Rock to include most of central to southern Arkansas and pretty much all of southeast Arkansas is under that marginal risk. Now, the storms that we're watching are kind of firing up on a bit of a line about right here, and they're pushing this way. So they're already into that marginal risk, doing the damage that is expected today. On satellite, you can actually see the storms as well. We'll take you over to the College of DuPage satellite. So right here are the storms on the satellite. You can see them, the bubbling up features there as they rapidly intensify across central to southern Arkansas, and they start pushing southeast towards the Missouri state line. You see a lot of cumulonimbus clouds going up in those cumulus fields. And out ahead, you got clear skies. That's going to be even worse as they push southeast. They're going to keep fueling and continuing their journey across Arkansas and probably eventually into western Mississippi before the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get you back over to radar so you guys can see these storms. So again, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Arkansas, one over here to the west. This is also, I believe, for 60 mile per hour winds and quarter-size hail. And this one is the same thing as well. This one over here to the east is a little bit more concerning because of this nice kind of bow that's starting to happen now. You never want to see that bow, and then it's really going linear all the way up through. So it's really packing all that wind right out in front of it, kind of like this. And so probably a pretty nice shelf cloud out ahead of it too eventually once it starts to get its act together a little bit more. You'll see a pretty decent looking shelf cloud on that. Make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. There we go. All right. So if you're just tuning in, we do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. We did have 3. They canceled that one back near Star City. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, both in Arkansas. I keep wanting to say Oklahoma. Jeez. Arkansas. This one including a lot of cities in the path. Just a handful, at least a dozen different cities included on this severe thunderstorm warning in southeast Arkansas. But major population would be like Arkansas City being the biggest one, I think. Reed, Winchester, and all those little bit higher populated areas in southeast Arkansas, but Arkansas City, right on the border of Mississippi. That's white little line. Here's the Mississippi River. That's the cutoff for Arkansas. So this warning takes you all the way to the border of Mississippi before it. I wonder if I can add the background, if that would look better. Yeah, I kind of like that. Might give us a better idea on population as well. Not really. But anyways, so 2 severe thunderstorm warnings out. One includes Calhoun and Ouachita, or however that's pronounced, counties in Arkansas. And then the second one for Desha, Drew, and Lincoln. Both of these expire at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 2:30 p.m. Central time for people who are in Arkansas. Currently, the main hazards are 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as quarter-size hail with these storms. Like I said a minute ago, this storm's actually starting to kind of get a little bit scrambled, but briefly this storm was kind of doing like a little bow where it kind of dips and really packs those strong winds right out in front of that bow. It's kind of breaking apart a little bit. Now we have little cells kind of breaking off out in front of it. I'm not sure if there's actually a robust random tornado threat today. I will verify that before I answer that, though. It's a very small marginal risk. It is less than 2%, so they're really not expecting any tornadoes out of this. There's not even severe watches out for these storms. So they're really not expecting these storms to last a long time, nor are they expecting widespread damage. However, it's still warnings. You should still seek shelter. 60-mile-per-hour winds can still do some damage. The Storm Prediction Center did highlight some areas a couple hours ago in this region for the greatest chance of a damaging wind gust over the next few hours. So we want to make sure that we're monitoring that, and that's exactly what we're doing here. We're watching this one back here too. It's kind of by itself, doing its own thing. Let's see if I can switch. I don't think there's going to be a... That's way, way too far off. There's only 2 radars in Arkansas. Let me see if there's a decent one in Mississippi. It's close. Yeah, too far away. So Little Rock, Arkansas is the best radar we're going to have for now. All right, so put this in motion. These storms are moving extremely fast, as well as you can tell. This run is, I think, it's about a 40-minute run time. So from the last 40 minutes, it went from the Star City, just actually north of Star City, to now a warning that includes Arkansas City. And that's why this warning box, is so wide and so far out, because these storms are moving so fast. They're riding that boundary of that cold front that's pushing its way across a lot of the country, a lot of the East Coast. Anything really east of the Mississippi is having quite the cool down. I know here in Indiana, we just got our cool down. It's raining all day today as well. That's part of our cold front right on that boundary, and it feels amazing outside. But that's exactly what's happening here. So let me go ahead and put this in, stop here. What's happening is you got a cold front somewhere back here. This isn't the exact location. And what it's doing is it's pushing these storms really quickly in front of that cold front. And so pretty much as soon as that cold front, all these storms are gone, that cold front will follow behind it, and it'll bring pretty cool temperatures for the people of Arkansas. I'm actually going to look and see, because I know there's a product that I can pull that will tell me where the cold front is. I can show you guys. So as soon as I find that, just give me a second here. Okay, yep, so that cold front is located about right here. Okay, so that's where that cold front is. And so what's happening is these storms are moving so fast because they're right in front of that cold front, right? And so they're booking it. We'll put this in motion again here so you guys can see. So you see how quickly these storms are moving. That's because that cold front is tucked in behind it, and it's just kicking those storms out as quickly as possible, trying to get it out of its way. As soon as these storms go by and that cold front passes over, it's probably over Little Rock right now, according to the Storm Prediction Center's website. But as soon as that cold front passes over, it's going to be beautiful weather. It'd be typical fall weather, but that's why these storms are moving so quickly right now across Arkansas. Now, this storm has become really sloppy in the last few runs. Now it's just like a weird, in a normal day, I would have been like, oh my goodness, look, we got a decent hook going on here near Monticello, Arkansas. But I don't think that's really the case today. Definitely not a tornado threat type of day. Let's go to base velocity. There's very little, almost, I would say none, rotation in these storms. So definitely not a tornado threat day, definitely a damaging wind threat type of day, or even sometimes maybe a little bit larger and quarter size hail day too. But definitely a damaging wind day, especially with the way how fast these storms are moving across the area. The quicker they move, the more widespread wind damage they can produce sometimes. So that's why we're hinting at that. We want to make sure, hey, make sure you guys are paying attention if you live in Southeast Arkansas. It's not really an outbreak type of day when it comes to severe weather. However, the occasional damaging wind knock some trees down is all likely. You also got to think we're going into late September now, so the trees are a little bit weaker, leaves start to die off, so you get a lot of branches falling down and whatnot. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. But these storms are definitely moving. If you guys are just now tuning in, this is 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in southern and southeast Arkansas. This includes the cities of Arkansas City. These storms are moving extremely quick with the cold front tailing behind it. So all you got to do is really get through these storms and you're going to have some beautiful weather. But these storms are producing some damaging winds. This one looks like maybe it's trying to join in with the pack. So this storm is kind of pushing this direction, and this storm is pushing this direction. So put that in stop for a second. You can tell the kind of the evolution of this storm up here that was the more concerning one, how it really went from being a sloppy storm, and then it like lineared out somewhere right in here, and now it's becoming another sloppy storm as it nears like the Monticello area. Definitely a weird storm system there, but you're going to get those on these more sloppy convective days where you're not going to have as much organized severe weather. It's quite common to see that type of stuff. Taking a look at satellite here. Satellite even is really kind of excuse me. Satellite's even shown a little bit of weakening as well in these storms. So I don't really see these storms going severe for much longer. I'm surprised there's a lot of convection going up in northwest Mississippi right now, assuming it's for these storms right here that I'm seeing on the radar. So I'm going to go back to pink here. These storms right here on radar or on satellite, you can see them blowing up as well. What's happening is that these storms are all starting to form into one line, a messy line, but they're starting to form into one line. So I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't get a severe thunderstorm warning somewhere in this general area here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, just solely based on the storms really becoming a little bit more organized into that linear event, and they might be packing some 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds somewhere in this region as well. So we'll monitor that as well. That's into Mississippi. But for now, our eyesight are set on this storm being one, the damaging wind gusts somewhere along this area right here as they push towards the Reed, Arkansas, and Arkansas City area. We know Arkansas City's populated area. I'm not sure about the other little towns. There's a lot of towns in here. But at least a dozen towns were at one point in this severe thunderstorm warning in the path of some damaging winds and damaging hail. Let me go back here. Do I have COVID? No, I don't have COVID. I'm fully vaccinated. No, I don't have COVID. At one point, I thought I did. A few weeks ago, I thought I had it, but I didn't. All right, so let's go back to this western storm here. This one's kind of an odd severe thunderstorm warning, but they do say this storm right here is packing 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail. Let's take a look at the hail indicator here and see if we have anything popping out, and we do. 1-inch size hail in this cell, and then even a quarter-size hail, or it's not really quarter-size hail, not literally quarter-size hail, but 0.25 inches size hail. And then back at this storm, the Monticello area getting 1-inch size hail reports. No warning on that. And you can actually see just on the hail indicator a bunch of random areas of hail all along this line. So that's why I'm thinking at some point we're probably going to get a warning somewhere in this region for wind and hail. Base velocity not really showing anything. Storm velocity not really showing anything. That's what we're waiting for. There's still a 1-inch size hail being reported back on this storm, which I believe just the way. And then 1-inch size hail near the Monticello area. This storm over here is actually kind of looks like maybe intensifying a little bit right on tail end Charlie of this linear event. And what I mean by tail end Charlie, what I mean by tail end Charlie is that you have this entire line of storms, and then at the very end, you occasionally get those nice setup storms that become a little bit more severe there in the end of the linear event. So that's where we're going to watch that Monticello area. We might have another warning pop up somewhere in here. This warning back here still, this storm back here still warned. Storm motion, the white lines kind of showing us which direction the storms are moving. These storms are more moving southeast, but this storm, just because it's intensifying back here, it kind of absorbed the other storm, so it's saying that's moving east. It's not, though. Zoom back into the biggest severe thunderstorm warning we have currently. This is for Desha, Drew, and Lincoln counties in southeast Arkansas. This expires in 30 minutes. I don't think it'll go that long, simply because of how fast these storms were moving. I'm going to make sure my audio is still good. You guys can hear me. Sounds perfect. All right. All right. Go back to this here. I'll actually take you guys back over to the satellite so you guys can see. Actually, I'll take you to the Storm Prediction Center's composite map. This is how I found out where the cold front was. This blue line right here. So this green and red dots and everything, that's our storms that are happening right now. That's what they're looking at. This blue line right here, stretching all the way up and down, moving east. I mean, a majority. I mean, it's completely from the Mexican to the Canadian borders. That's how wide this cold front is. Everything behind this cold front is experiencing some pretty nice weather right now. Everything ahead of it, still a little humid, a little warm, but as soon as it passes, that's why these storms down here in southeast Arkansas are moving so quick, is because this nice little cold front is moving southeast and pushing all of it. I live about right here, and so we're about to get our cold front here in a minute. I can actually hear the wind outside right now, as well as the rain that's coming down that's ahead of that cold front. Take you guys back over to satellite. Where we can see the intensification of storms here, especially right here, northwest Mississippi. You see those storms really starting to become aggressive. It's because it's joining that line that we see right here. That line of storms really starting to blow up across southeast Arkansas, northwest Mississippi. And that's what we want to monitor, of course. There is a marginal risk out. If I zoom out a little bit here, there's a marginal risk for severe weather from about right here through this region right here. Oh, that messed up, but this yellow circle area is the region that the Storm Prediction Center is monitoring for the severe weather today. That's why this is the area they're keeping an eye on. There is no tornado threat in here. There's a less than 2% tornado threat. That doesn't mean we won't get a random tornado warning, but there is a less than 2% tornado threat across that region today. But that is the area in which the Storm Prediction Center is highlighted. We're still kind of monitoring storms here. Let me lower that a little bit. Still with the linear event that's trying to get going, but it's really not doing too well. We looked up on satellite just a second ago. We were seeing these storms right here starting to intensify on satellite, and that last radar run, they really did a good job there. I was about to say they weren't really doing a good job at intensifying. That last radar update that we just got, showing these storms starting to really come together here on that linear moded system here. As I was saying earlier, I somewhat expect, I don't know why my mouse keeps doing that. I somewhat expect a severe warning somewhere in that region, soon, if they continue to keep their intensification. Let's check hail. Still 3/4 of an inch size hail back here. On that Camden cell, Monticello is actually intensifying with their hail. They're at an inch and a quarter now, 1.25 size hail. That's severe. And then little areas of tiny pea-sized hail. That's not considered a severe threshold type hail. Back across northwest Mississippi, even all the way up here near Batesville, Mississippi, it's got a little bit of hail tucked in there. Kind of expected with these systems today. But this one right here really intensifying back near Monticello. That's that tail end storm system. That happens sometimes. You get these linear events that start kicking in, and then at the very end of those linear events, you get that more severe storms and maybe occasionally a tornado sometimes when the environment's a little bit more prone than it is today for tornadoes. You get those tornadoes that happen on the linear events way down south, but not on, not today's system. There's actually nothing even happening rotation-wise today with these storms. Nothing that I've seen anyway that's concerning. It's not alcohol, I promise. All right. So severe thunderstorm warning includes Arkansas City. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. I'm going to see actually if they've upgraded this yet, just solely based on the hail indicators back here saying over an inch of hail. They haven't updated it yet. It still says 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail. Hail damage to vehicles is expected, and expect wind damage to roof sidings and trees. And look at all these towns that were included in that warning. We were talking about that earlier, how we had at least a dozen different towns that were included in that warning when it first came out, when I first went live. I'm going to take a screenshot of this real quick. All right. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them in the comments section here on the YouTube channel, because I can see all that with the software I use, so I can monitor all that. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at @TheZacharyLane. You'll know it's me when you see it. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitter as well. We are continuing coverage for now. If these storms don't really start to intensify, we'll log off here shortly. But for now, we're going to keep an eye on it at least until it gets to the point where it gets close to the Mississippi River. If I don't see any intensification happening, I'll go offline. But for now, we're still going to stay on and monitor the severe thunderstorm warning. That does include the city of Reed, Arkansas City, and many others in southeast Arkansas. 60-mile-per-hour winds reported with this storm. And we also have one back here that's actually starting to weaken a little bit. As you can tell, we put this in motion from when it started to where it is now, just a tad weakening. And then a little storm popping up ahead of it as well. The storm pretty much just due northeast of Elliott. We'll let the satellite load. This is the cool thing about this software that I use for radar, is that you can actually see, like basically you can zoom in on homes and everything. So I can actually tell you exactly where the storm is the worst and where it's going. So all these roads that lead the houses, I see some houses in here. You're about to get hit by the storm in a few. Over here in Monticello, College Heights, I'd really start to monitor the storm that's at the very southern end of this linear system. This one right here. This is the one that the hail indicator was telling us was over an inch in size. It's also the most intensifying storm out of this linear event that I've seen so far. We're on Central Time, not Eastern Time. This warning does expire at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. About put Eastern Time because I'm on Eastern Time. So where this says expires, that's my time. That's Eastern Time. But this storm expires at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, which is 19 minutes from now. Still kind of monitor. I still want to pay attention to this storm back here near Monticello. That's the most aggressive looking storm that I've seen today, just based on hail indicator as well as just overall radar image. We're right at 1 inch size hail now near Monticello, pretty much right on top of Monticello. I can actually zoom in on that so we can get an idea. Yeah, pretty much right on top of Monticello is that 1 inch hail indicator. Northeast of College Heights. All this, not just hail. This is all blinding rain happening right now, and a nice little notch happening too right in there, where you probably have maybe some inflow feeding into the storm, given to that little hook-looking thing tucked in there. Let's see. I bet that won't work. That's not going to work. Rainfall totals from these storms. So here's some pretty good rain in here. This is about 2 inches or so. That's enough to flood. This is in the last hour. This is a 1 hour rainfall total right now. So heavy rainfall happening just west of Mitchellville, Arkansas. I don't see anything anywhere else that really is putting off that much rain. So that's definitely the worst area of rain so far. Back here near Monticello, you're getting pretty close. You're about 1.5 inches, probably flirting with that 2 inch mark back there. And that's kind of the storm I'm watching for. That's why I zoomed on that one, because I was like, let's see if storm total will load. It won't. Echo Top storm's getting pretty high here. This one over 50,000 feet, or probably kilometers actually. No, it's feet. Nope, it's feet. Okay, so this is about over 50,000 feet tall on this storm. I think that's the tallest. We got a couple areas maybe 50,000 feet, and then the storm southwest of Hampton. So this storm definitely near the Monticello area is probably your stronger storm of the day. That's the one that's been putting off that hail, and now we get an idea of how tall it is. The hail actually indicator is going down on that, so that's a good sign. Let's check. There's your integrated liquid. So this is where the hail is, right? So they're reporting probably the toughest hail being right in there, south of College Heights. That's the same storm system. Let's see. That looks to be the worst so far today. All right, let's go back to reflectivity. We'll keep monitoring that. Still shocked that these storms aren't warned. Gosh dang it, mouse. Still shocked these storms aren't warned yet, just based on radar, of course. I don't really know what's happening on the ground, but just based on radar, they look like they're intensifying and having maybe some straight line damage or wind damage, but they're not warned yet. Maybe it's just radar kind of looking like they're a little bit tougher than what they actually are. I'm going to wait to see the next radar update or two to see what this storm near Monticello does. I don't think this storm over here near Hampton will be warned much longer. Let's see. They're still reporting 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. Let me pull up storm reports. You guys just look at the radar for a second. There are no reports yet today, from what I can see. I'm sure there has been a storm report, but I don't see any yet. People are starting to get off work as well in this region, from anywhere from Monticello, down to Collins. People get off work. You're going to be driving probably some blinding rain. Definitely not the ideal driving conditions for you guys, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think these storms are really going to they'll probably continue. These storms will probably continue. There might be a warning issued up here across portions of Arkansas and Mississippi, but I'm not going to continue live coverage on this. Please heed warnings, of course. Make sure you're paying attention. Get to your safe spots when these storms roll in. But I'm not going to continue my live coverage of this today just because the storms aren't really widespread. I just wanted to come in, touch up on what was going on for a little bit, and kind of, get back in the hang of doing live coverage. But I'm not going to continue doing this throughout the entire day when the storms aren't really widespread. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps me out a ton. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers here before the winter season rolls around. We start doing winter coverage. Also, tropical development happening in the Atlantic. We'll monitor that as well as it pushes across the ocean and possibly, eyeballing U.S. landfall at some point. But until next time, guys, thank you